Good evening and welcome to the Village Board meeting for the Village of Pleasantville. Anyone who's watching this will be watching it on a tape delay because we have some technical problems that are not actually live tonight. So today is Monday, August 28th. Our next scheduled meeting is 2 weeks from today, Monday, September 11 at 8 p.m. with a work session at 7. And I want to remind everyone that that meeting, Monday, September 11, is also the occasion of a public hearing for our zoning text amendments, primarily stuff focused on the downtown that arose out of our master planning process, but there are a bunch of zoning changes that affect, in modest ways, every area of the community, which is why all of you received in the mail a notice of that public hearing. You can go to the website at pleasantville-ny.gov and take a look at all of the zoning code changes in a strike-through format so you can see what the code said before and what it proposes to say in the future. I will say from my own standpoint that most of the cleanups are rather modest and not something that the average resident would have a great deal of concern about, but I leave that to you. So pleasantville-ny.gov, right on the front page, click into the zoning text amendments that are up for public hearing on September 11. The more substantive piece of those zoning changes involves some changes in the downtown, particularly the area on the post office side of Memorial Plaza, which we propose to revise to permit 4-story buildings on that side as opposed to the current 3. So again, comments are welcome at the public hearing on September 11, and anybody can take a look if they care to at the info that's up on the website. A bunch of other announcements to make here. Folks at the Westchester Department of Health sent out a note, as they have last couple of weeks. West Nile virus has been found in various places of Westchester, so we encourage everybody to get rid of standing water on their property whenever they can. That would be much appreciated. I know a bunch of folks, parents of kids in the elementary school age, are concerned about the status of the Panther Club after-school program at BRS. As perhaps you're already aware, that program filled up much more quickly than we envisioned to our max of 100. We have a little over 30 kids on the waiting list and have been vigorously working to see whether there's any way to accommodate that. We have cleared a couple of hurdles, one of which is the regulatory hurdle to confirm a license that would allow us to take more than 100 kids. And we've also worked with the school. School district has been great and cooperative to try to find a way to manage the varying uses of space in BRS in the afternoon. So our challenge right now is to hire additional staff to allow us to take more kids. So obviously school starts next week. Panther Club will start with the 100 kids that are already enrolled, but we are vigorously working to try to find the additional staff people we need, and if we can find the additional staff people, that will allow us to increase the program. I do think it's likely fair to say that we cannot go much beyond the current waiting list. There are just too many logistical problems attached to all of that. So I wish I could give you a solid answer that said on this date this event is going to happen. So what I deliver is a cautiously optimistic report that I think it is probable that we're going to find a way to expand Panther Club, but it isn't going to happen on day one of the school starting. And the most important thing to all of us, and I'm sure to the parents on the wait list as well as in the program already, is that we maintain the quality of the program we have. So all of those things are in play and we're working hard on it. Farm market continues to rock and roll. Please get yourself down there if you haven't already been. Corn, tomatoes, it's a veritable feast going on downtown. School opens next week. Just want to remind everybody that we have a number of new traffic regulations, including some no standing zones near the middle school driveway on Ashland Avenue that are going to be vigorously enforced. This past week, many of you may have already noticed, we added a speed hump on Sunnyside Avenue, try to get better control of folks who are zipping around in the vicinity of the schools. And in the first several weeks of the schools, we're going to have an enhanced police presence in order to try to encourage everybody to stay within the white lines, both literally and figuratively. I know the library has had some concerns, as we have mentioned at previous meetings, and they're sending out a letter through the context of the schools, reminding everyone that kids who are not able to function independently behave appropriately and leave and go home independently are not appropriate candidates to be unsupervised at the library. There are also some serious concerns about how the parking lot works, especially in the afternoon when parents are trying to use the parking lot as a pickup and drop-off spot for matters unrelated to the library. So, Patty, correct me if I'm wrong, we're going to have some parking enforcement support for the library in the first few weeks of school to try to help control the parking lot situation. And one result of all of that may be to move to an environment where the library lot is closed for a brief period of time.
That's on the table right now.
Right.
We will have some monitoring done the first 2 weeks with parking enforcement, but it appears that there will be some reconfiguration of the library's driveways to allow ingress to be closed for 45 minutes, so people can get out, but they won't be able to park in that lot during dismissal hours. It just makes sense.
So I think that the takeaway from all of that is, obviously, as we all know, there's an awful lot of stuff going on in a very small area, but we need parents and the parents planning for their kids to be extremely aware of the fact that the spillover effects of too many kids in unsupervised locations has turned into a big problem for the school, for the village, and for the library, and we're all working to try to find solutions that will improve it for everybody. Safety, obviously, is the paramount goal. So, Colleen, did you want to mention the Pleasantville Strong?
Yeah, and I mean,
Forum?
earlier during our work session, we actually had the opportunity to have Nicole, who's the Pleasantville Strong coordinator, here with, to talk about vaping. We had a discussion about, what the village will be doing. We had received a request from the school board, but Pleasantville Strong is having a vaping e-cigs presentation on Wednesday, August 30th at 7 o'clock at Pleasantville High School, 7 to 9 p.m. with a bunch of experts on the panel. Just one of the astounding statistics is between 2011 and 2015, e-cig use in high school students increased 900%. So if we think that kids aren't vaping or using, they are. So we've got a great panel set up, and we invite everybody to come out and attend.
Anybody else have other announcements to make? Last thing I wanted to mention is the Pleasantville Community Garden, which is based in a side yard at St. John's Church, but also using the school gardens in the summer, and also picking up surplus material from the farm market, has just been doing an incredible job, and I encourage you to take a look at their website, pvillegarden.org. Really quite incredible stuff going on there, and it's worth your attention both to know about it and potentially to volunteer. So thanks to the folks behind that whole thing. So tonight we have on our agenda some further discussion about community choice aggregation. As all of you know, Pleasantville is a participant in the Sustainable Westchester Community Choice Aggregation Program that essentially became a group buying program for both mixed source as well as all green electricity. Dan Welsh from Sustainable Westchester is now the major domo of this project. Website is westchesterpower.org. So you want to report here?
And Jasmine Graham will
Jasmine Cram,
paper to
welcome.
Thank you.
memorialize this evening. Thanks for giving me some space tonight.
Thank you.
And the
Thank you.
ulterior motive, the main driver, maybe, you just noted that we're a part of the Sustainable Westchester organization, and for the benefit of people who in your audience who are not so versed in that collaboration, I'll just take 30 seconds and say that Westchester Power is not a distinct entity. It's a program within Sustainable Westchester, which is a groundbreaking collaboration between most of the towns in Westchester County. And I think it's important to take note that Sustainable Westchester is not just incredibly smart people like Jasmine and other people in my office coming and dropping amazing programs in front of you and saying sign up, but it is a collaboration. So the most powerful part of the organization, probably, and one that we frankly have not exploited as much as we can, is all the amazing stuff that's going on in the towns. And we're starting to work on bringing that together and more cohesively. We're not just visiting the town boards, but we're visiting the various committees, conservation, sustainability. And we inevitably, when we stop in on those meetings, we find out that really cool stuff is going on. And they have very active and brainy people working on different things. So, for example, recently, thread comes out, leaf blowers. Everybody's concerned about leaf blowers, but it's kind of a different take in different places. So North Castle's working on it. They're doing a big survey of what all the different towns are doing, trying to benchmark. Larchmont and Yonkers are working on it, but they both have code already. Larchmont has trouble with enforcement. Yonkers doesn't. They approach it differently. We're thinking about doing a workshop and bringing people together so that we can trade experience on that. That's a simple one, but a very, I think, good example value to it. Obviously, there's the aggregated effort value to it that Westchester Power is a clear example of. But recently, we have in the clean transportation program, we're seeing that value in the EV purchasing aggregation that our director Ron Kamen has worked on. So in that program, the current exciting thing that's going on is a discount on the all-electric Nissan Leaf, and he managed to went out with RFPs and to try to get the best offers from the various dealers and manufacturers, and he's got Nissan came back with the most aggressive and rapid response, and he's got a $10,000 discount on that, which added to the state and federal tax credits is $19,000 plus, bringing the car itself down to like $15,000. I bought one, and I actually had one beforehand, and the lease just ended just as the program was starting.
Timing was perfect.
I turned it in the morning. In the evening, we went down and I bought the car. So it's a really exciting program and a very tangible evidence again of the value. We've got a tremendous uptake, and actually that has served as a tremendous piece of outreach for Sustainable Westchester in a way, because it's going out into places that are not necessarily like our sort of obvious target, because people just want to buy a cheap car, So it's been really effective. That goes on until the end of September, and I'm told by Ron that the next manufacturer to step up is BMW. So watch for that one if that's.
And that was 15,000 too.
I don't think it's going to be quite as deep.
Tesla's for 15,000.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
sure. We'll have that next. But anyway, that's exciting and fun, and I think, again, a very tangible thing. But I just wanted to emphasize that it's this exchange, and we're going to make a whole lot more of that.
So while you're there, I just noticed in the documents you gave us, in Pleasantville, you estimate there have been a total savings of about $69,000 in savings across about 2,300 accounts, breaking down to about $30 in savings per account. So certainly nothing life-changing, but it's achieving exactly what we hoped it would. And at the same time, although in Pleasantville it isn't the default green, I'm hopeful, and we'll look at these numbers to see whether we have higher green compliance than we had before. So,
yes, but I'll say frankly, we haven't done a great job in sort of going out with a special promotion and just reminding people that they can opt up to green very easily, extremely easily. Just go on the website, fill in a few things, or call any of the people up in the office. So with that, there's work to do there, and the amount of uptake on that is unsurprisingly not tremendously high. And you can, obviously the whole driver for the program was in part because people tend to not do anything. They pay their power bill and they move on, which is one of the reasons why the private market for the ESCOs, for the private supply, which has been out there since the late 90s, has not really worked. It's only some 20-odd% of people in New York had taken up on this. So, but that's on us to do a little bit more work on that. And at the same time, we'll be, of course, with this next round, we hope maybe towns that were originally a little bit hesitant about going all the way for the green option will consider that as an option. Because even this estimate actually that's in there, it is just a rough estimate. We're going to give you much better numbers because one exciting thing that's going on now is the move to move all our data to a professional data services company. That's going to be not only a tremendous improvement on the security side, because we're just a little office and we handle the spreadsheets and we're good about it, but this is going to be a direct database-to-database connection. These guys use industry standard, ISO standards, et cetera, in managing these things, secure database connections. And we'll get interfaces for that, which, on our office side will help to do the customer service bit, but then we'll also facilitate much better reporting for the towns and then ultimately for individuals too. So you'll have a Pleasantville page where you can go and get these numbers on a much more timely fashion and more accurate. So I say that's an estimate because we're just taking basically the total kilowatt hours that are moving through and the price difference that we're seeing and multiplying it pro rata over Pleasantville. But it really comes down to actually individual accounts when their meter read dates are, and it gets more complicated than that. So we'll refine that. But you're exactly right. Nobody is sending their kids to school on this savings, but it's done what we want to do with it, and we've moved a lot of people into green supply, and we have a platform here for doing a lot more good work. And so as we roll into the renewal period, we want to talk a little bit more about that, but we really want to get to, by the end of the year, get to general consensus among the participating municipalities about what the new contract is going to look like. So that's going to include any enhancements and upgrades versus what we're doing today, and Jewel may tell you about some ideas that they have about that, and any fixes to that contract relative to what we've learned in our operations. For example, relationships with the supplier. Are they delivering us data in a timely fashion? Do we have any leverage over them for that kind of? There'll be a little tweaks to that, and also the triggers for the new contract. So recall the original launch went forward based on the towns agreeing that if the bids came in below the trailing 12 months average, that would be the trigger, and we'd automatically go forward. So we had an MOU in place that gave assurance to the bidders that it was a real thing. So we'll have to decide what the triggers are for this round. So that's really the main purpose of coming before you this time, because to get to that point, we really want to have a couple of months of outreach time with all the municipalities. The order demands it first of all. So if we back away from end of year, a couple of months and say we should be in front of your residents, reminding them that they're in this program, that it's coming up from renewal, that they're welcome to give feedback or ask questions about it, and before we get up to the point where you guys want to have a hearing and yes, decide we're rolling into the next contract. So we would look to you folks to give us some suggestions as to the medium for some of that outreach, whether it be community events. Last weekend, we spent the weekend at the Mount Pleasant Community Day that they hold, and we're happy to appear at whatever types of events that you might have, or other publications, or putting things into your newsletters, or holding another hearing here, or information session here, whatever your suggestions are. But we're ready to staff up to support that.
All right, thank you, sir. Much appreciated.
Very good. Thank you. We'll be in. Oh, so I'm sorry. Regarding the data, the work with the data systems company, there was a little to-do item that I sent out to all the towns.
Yes, I'm seeing that as I search.
Asking for your assent to formalize that they can receive the data on our behalves.
Subject to the same terms of the existing contract.
Yes,
So, seems
that's
fine to
all.
me. Everyone agree?
That's all.
This is the account data?
Yes, it is. It is.
Is it blinded?
Sorry?
Is it blinded? Is it transferring personally identifiable information?
It really is, but it's in a better place.
And
They're-
it's, like you said, it's subject to the terms of the agreement?
Yes, our agreement was made a part of the agreement with them.
With
and
them, so they're
committed
bound
to
by the
that.
same conditions?
There's also cross non-disclosure agreements in every which direction between the supplier and us and them
And usage
us.
limitations on the data, right? I mean, if they're a data firm,
It's
they know
to-
this stuff.
That's right. That's all they do. They're actually also, they specialize in community distributed generation. I didn't talk much about that, but community solar is a piece that we think is going to be important part of how we move towards localized renewables. And so that's one reason we were very happy to make them our partner, because it makes a very organic move into those places. So thank you for your
I think
assent.
you have our assent.
Very, very good. Thank you.
Okay, thank
That's
you.
going to be on the record, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Do you need something?
If it's in the minutes, that's fine.
Sure.
That's fine, or, if you could send me something tomorrow. that'd
Okay,
be great.
that's fine.
So-
It'd be good to maybe
All right,
point out
thank
that
you,
this-
Dan. So Mike Gordon and Glenn Weinberg are here from Juul Community Power. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
And we're really, I came to you last as the founding chair of Sustainable Westchester. Returned to talk more about community choice aggregation and the specific opportunities connected with it and the timeliness of those opportunities. Some of the messages are actually very similar to Dan's, but I think that our numbers are, and I think, Dan, the difference is that we probably extended out a few months the savings, because the last several months actually bring that $25 of savings up to roughly $70 a home. So in fact, we're
Keep
here
it
to tell you.
coming.
Yeah, we're here to tell you
Great.
that, and that was the thinking in the original design of the contract, that on the front end of a fixed price contract, first of all, you wanted to address risk so that there was no exit fee for anybody who chose to leave. And second of all, as that contract is towards the end of a fixed price contract, you would expect to have more savings than you had at the beginning of a fixed price contract. And that seems to be bearing fruit. The good news is that you've done all the heavy lifting. As Dan mentioned, there are several things that you should change your contract to address, and there are some risks in leaving the contract alone, but they're minor risks. Well, they're not minor risks, they're minor changes to the contract, and we can clearly go through those with legal folks as well. Since we last came here, you passed a local law which only Sustainable Westchester was eligible to provide administrative services. Now that's been enabled statewide. You absolutely should not have in your local law that it's Sustainable Westchester. You should have the capability to be working with any administrator. And in fact, I think the Department of Public Service would say that having a specific administrator in your local law, while you still can do it, it's not generally considered consumer-friendly or town-friendly to your residents. We come here with the advice that you change your local law. Minor, you just, in place of Sustainable Westchester, you say provider of choice. That would be our suggestion, and any attorney working for the town would confirm that that's smarter for the town to do that. Then with respect to community solar, so there's really very little that you need to do. But with respect to community solar, your contract is coming up. With the next contract, we can guarantee a 20-year stream of savings versus the utility for 100% of your residents on community solar. And That's an enhancement that we feel would be critical to this program. A guaranteed 20-year stream of savings for 100% of your residents. The second piece is that should you do community solar in any town facility, we can pay the town a rental fee for that community solar site. And that's something that should be a stream of revenue for the town. Third of all, there are streams of revenues for any resident who has a smart thermostat. They should be getting these streams of revenues to provide resilience to the power grid. All of these things should be available in your next contract starting in May. So you can pay residents, you can pay the town, and you can guarantee 20 years of savings for community distributed generation for 100% of your residents. These are some of the things that we feel that it is incumbent upon the town to do, but clearly you'll do it or you won't do it.
You're referring to solar on people's individual roofs or on a municipal site?
Could be on a municipal site,
Right.
could be on a site anywhere in Westchester County. Could be on a site anywhere within this zone. We can actually use that site to guarantee. So the first town that comes in and administers, we may well be able to get to 40, 50, 60% solar, in essence, solar supply. That's technically not the way it works, but in essence, it's that solar supply. And we can guarantee savings for the next 20 years versus utility rates. Now, you'd still,
Let me pause you. So you said the first town that comes in. Can you define what you mean by that?
We just need to make sure we have enough community solar to serve the towns that engage with this administrative
Enough
approach.
Countywide or in a particular municipality?
In a particular municipality.
And how do you
No. We have enough solar county-wide. So
Okay.
the earliest towns that come in are going to get that guarantee. We may run out of solar.
Oh, I see. Okay.
In the, that's actually in the queue. So we may not, if a town comes in kind of towards the end, we may not be able to provide that same percentage of
And
community
this is
solar.
a Joule Community Power Program.
Yeah, and it's our intention, and we were very clear. We actually went to Sustainable Westchester. We proposed that we work in tandem with Sustainable Westchester. I do not want you to put Dan on the spot, but I will put Dan on the spot. I think that if you were to ask the staff of Westchester Power if they would like to be working in tandem with us, I think that they would clearly say yes, absolutely. But the board is a slower moving vehicle, the Sustainable Westchester Board, and I think that just a slower moving vehicle. So were you to work with us, what we would do is we would hire Sustainable Westchester to continue to do the work that they're currently doing. So
For
our-
CCA.
Yeah, absolutely. So it would look exactly the same to you as long as Sustainable Westchester didn't say no, but I don't think they'd say no to being hired to do the same work. So our suggestion is that maybe the only way to do it would be to simply put it out to bid of who would be that administrator and have a clear, apples to apples comparison, and we would be happy to provide the suite of services that we are outlining for you today, and the entire process would be quite straightforward and
And
simple.
the solar piece is sidecar to CCA.
No, it's part and parcel of it. So what we can do is we can take community solar as part of the supply, and so we can guarantee savings over the utility rate for that community solar part of the supply for 20 years.
Based on the amount of energy generated by that community's collective solar.
Not just by that community, so we can bring in solar from outside of Pleasantville, and it can be included in the mix as long as it's zone I. As long as it's the same zone, the solar is being generated in the same grid zone.
So that's a new wrinkle, not in the current CCA deal.
Right, exactly. So the several new wrinkles are 20-year guaranteed savings, improvements on the contract, and I think that we'd work in tandem with Sustainable Westchester to make sure that those are serving you and reflective of your needs, and the ability to actually pay the town residents for smart thermostats that they have, and the ability to pay the town itself should you do a solar unit anywhere in the municipality.
Okay.
Quick question, why 20 years?
The credits are good for 20 years.
Right.
So it's a question of stepping in to financially guarantee that it's always less than the utility. On average, over 20 years, it's going to be less than the utility because there are credits, but you have to true up between months and with
Right.
credits and between seasons. So we are guaranteeing, and that's one of the reasons that we're getting the Department of Public Service to say yes
Right. 'Cause
to
it's
this.
over the lifespan of the 20 years,
No, every month.
every month.
Every month. And that's one of the things that the Department of Public Service was very excited about. So initially, we wrote the proposal to the Department of Public Service allowing Sustainable Westchester to do this as a pilot.
Right.
And that proposal, we proposed certain things that they said, no, not yet to. And other things that they said, absolutely. We came here, we reported to you on what we believed the program would look like and where there were questions. I think you heard me say, I don't know. But here's how I suspect it will work out. And I think in 100% of the cases, the way we suspected it would work
Yes,
out is
transpired.
precisely as it did
Okay.
work out.
All right. Interesting stuff.
So basically, our ask is that you do a small change in the local law and that you do an RFP for an administrator. And then we would work in tandem with Sustainable Westchester should you choose to hire us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mike. Any further comment on any of that? All right.
And I have one.
Yep.
How do you segregate the solar generated power per customer? I mean, not to get into a big technical
Yeah.
discussion, but
You don't.
a kilowatt.
You don't.
Right?
You don't. If it's 40%, what it's going to work out is that 1 month it might be 38%, next month it'll be 42%, depending on what it
You're
generates.
guaranteeing the savings on that portion
That's exactly
of the
right.
generated power.
Yeah.
Whatever it
Everything
is.
else, everything else would be exactly as it's structured now.
Right,
Fixed price, no exit fee, nothing.
right. And you're just saying that the variation in the generation is going to come on however the aggregate solar capacity delivers for that month, right?
That's right. And the way it would work is we'd start with 20, 30, 40%, and then we'd step up as the weeks and months go by
Right.
to get to 100.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate your visit. To be continued.
guys. Thanks for
We'll talk
having
more.
us.
Okay. Before we head back to our resolutions, Colleen already referred to this, but in work session, we were discussing two related things, one of which was the potential to establish a resolution that would ban smoking in Pleasantville parks. Turns out we don't currently have such a regulation, and it's a concern of lots of us, as well as concern having to do with the maintenance of some of our pocket parks, which have turned into cigarette butt collecting points. So if anyone has any opinions on that subject, we'd be happy to hear it. The idea of establishing smoke-free parks for all of our public parks. Then the related piece is, as you will recall from previous meetings, the school district passed a resolution, and one of the things they sought from us was the possibility that we might independently as a community raise the age of purchase for tobacco and tobacco-related products to age 21. which is apparently a piece of New York State law that has been ceded to us. The statewide regulation is 18. A number of places, including Orange County and New York City, have already done this. And I know, and we heard tonight as well, that there is discussion at the Westchester County level about whether such a thing might occur countywide. But that's a matter under discussion for us, the idea of raising the age of purchase for tobacco and tobacco-related products to 21, and would be happy to get feedback from anybody on any side of that issue. With that, to the resolutions. 139, Nicole.
Resolved that the pre-check register dated August 28th, 2017 is hereby approved as listed below. For the fiscal year 2017-2018, General Fund $267,053.42, Water Fund $156,551.12, Capital Fund $240,358.52, Refuse Fund $21,317.60, Trust Fund $4,722, for a total of $690,002.66.
Is there a second?
Second.
We don't always spend $690,000 of your dollars every 2 weeks, but among the big ticket items in this check register is $240,358.52, which goes to the substantial repaving program that you've seen on lots of streets in Pleasantville. So,
I had a question about one, it was for 14,000 for some, an address on Broadway, some Con Ed.
Yeah, I saw them out there.
Who's the vendor? Do you know?
Yeah, Fiorito?
Oh, okay, that was for cutting Bedford Road in order to put the water lines into the
Okay.
Memorial Plaza for our civic space projects
Yeah,
here.
just something. All right, thank you.
all right, any further comments or questions?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. 140, Steve.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the appointments of Michael Farley and Mario Conte as court attendants part-time at a salary of $22 per hour, effective August 22nd, 2017.
Is there a second?
Second.
Additional staff, or is somebody leaving, Patty?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
Richard Fernandez is leaving us, and we just would like to have the, opportunity to have additional resources. So we had asked the chief to interview and to conduct background checks for both of these individuals, and they both come recommended to serve our justice court as part-time court attendants.
Sounds good. All in favor?
I had a
Oh,
quick
I'm
question
sorry,
on
I'm
that. So I noticed in Chief Krutner's letter that he said that they've been warranted as firearms current by their current employers. Do we re-qualify them when they're
Yes.
here? We do. So does that happen within a certain time frame?
They train annually with our own police department.
So they'll wait for the next cert cycle for our
Correct.
guys and then join that?
Yes,
Great. But we take the other guys at their word that they're current?
yes.
Okay. Great.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. 141, Colleen.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the request from the Jacob Burns Film Center to reserve 2 parking meter spaces in front of the Jacob Burns Film Center on October 23, 2017 for a food truck in conjunction with their Film to Table series.
Is there a second?
Second.
This is a one-day event, Monday, October 23rd in the evening. They're hosting a film and food night as part of their Farm to Table series. And lacking a kitchen, we'll be using these 2 spaces for a...
We don't see a concern with it. I think that I will ask them to pay for meter bags
Yeah.
for the day. This way, there's
As we
no
would for anyone.
problem.
Yeah. Would they be people lined up in
No.
front of those trucks? No,
No,
so it's
no,
just
that-
serving.
It's
Oh,
the
yeah,
kitchen.
yes.
They're
We
bringing
don't
the
have-
food
okay,
in.
We don't have to worry about
Correct.
pedestrians? and-
No.
No.
Okay.
Is there a time window
That's a
on
good
it?
question.
Is there a time window on it when they're going to, this resolution doesn't have a time window of when they're going to...
I don't know when they'll come, but we'll reserve the spaces for
For
the
the
day,
day.
so I don't have a problem
So
with
whenever
that.
they want to do it, they
Correct.
do it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. Joe, 142.
Whereas the Board of Trustees has received a copy of the Justice Court Audit for fiscal year ending May 31st, 2017, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village clerk to file same with the Office of Court Administration pursuant to Section 2019-A of the Uniform Justice Court Act.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mayor, I'd just like to add that we will have our auditors do a presentation on the entire results of operations for fiscal year ending 2017. It probably will be early October, just because of scheduling, but our audit should be available within the next 2 weeks. You'll have a hard copy of the results of operations.
All right. Oh, so why are we doing this piece separately, just because it's a separate audit?
It has to be forwarded to
Yeah,
the
the state.
state, correct.
All right, any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. 143, Nicole.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village administrator to sign the Snow and Ice Adjustment Amendment B with New York State Department of Transportation for the winter of 2016-2017, as per the terms set forth in the agreement dated August 22nd, 2017.
Is there a second?
Second.
Near miracle.
Yeah.
Well,
Near miracle.
we had a blizzard.
We're getting more.
Getting more money.
So, we had a lot of cleanup after that blizzard.
Yeah.
We almost, almost got away with it, but we didn't. So
Well,
we
so-
spent a lot of money, and we are getting
Anyway,
some back.
The original estimate was $16,997.14 reimbursed, and the index adjustment was $8,447.58 for a total of $25,444.72. So we're getting back $8,447 more than we anticipated.
Which is good, because
That
we
is
used
good.
it. I mean, we
Right.
Well, we
plowed
did.
hard.
Yeah.
We did, yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. 144.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the temporary appointment of Andy Foka as lead maintenance mechanic at a salary of $35 per hour from August 29th, 2017 to December 1, 2017.
Is there a second?
Second.
Patty?
Sure.
Andy back.
Andy,
Yeah, what?
fortunately for us, will be coming back. Sam Mazzullo is currently out on a disability. We expect him back, but we don't know if he will be back in this current calendar year. Shoulder surgery and some other things, so he's fairly incapacitated. We are down to one mechanic. Andy did say that he could fill in on an as-needed basis until such time as we could be assured that we would have a full complement of mechanics. And with winter on the
Yeah.
horizon and
Yeah,
things
that's
coming up, we really do need to be sure that we have coverage in the shop.
He knows
So-
the trucks.
I was going to say.
His
if
high
Andy-
degree of competency. Andy's been with us over 30
If
years.
Andy says it's okay, it's
That's
okay
gotta
with
work.
me.
Yeah, good.
We're
all
lucky
in-
to have him back.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. 145, Colleen.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the minutes of the meeting held on August 14th, 2017.
Is there a second?
Second.
Among the announcements was our Facebook page. You want to
Yeah.
give a pitch for that?
Yes, it's going well. We have over 200 likes and something like 250 follows, and we haven't officially launched it yet. We're going to wait till school starts again, and we will publicize it in the village. I encourage those of you who are already on Facebook to find us. It's the Village of Pleasantville, New York. And those who are not already on Facebook may consider doing so because it's a great source of information.
Thank you for that. Nicole and Steve have taken that one.
Yeah,
by them.
just kudos to Nicole because she's been carrying the load while I've been completely heads down on a bunch of other stuff. So
Yeah,
she's
trying to make it
you've really
real.
been you've been
Yeah.
carrying that weight. So thank you.
Two other things to be reminded of that were in those minutes. One is we welcomed a new police officer, Jonathan Smith, filling a vacancy, and also the annual Tina Gambino 5K run walk is going to be held on October 28th. Get yourself to tinagambino.org for further information. And that meeting again 2 weeks ago was an opportunity to thank Michael Bloom,
Yeah.
who has marched his way off to college, I think, within the last couple of days, but who provided an extraordinary service to the community and to the Tina Gambino Foundation in organizing so many things on behalf of the memory of Tina. So congratulations to Michael Bloom, and best of luck in college. All in favor of the minutes?
Aye.
Motion approved. 146. Joe?
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the following budget amendments to increase revenue and expenses in the general fund, $2,168 to revenue fund Cablevision PEG funds, and the same amount expenditure account PEG pass-through payments to PCTV. and $327. Increase revenue account Verizon PEG funds, and increase the expenditure account by the same amount, PEG pass-through payments to PCTV. And also increase revenue and expenses accounts on capital fund, $30,110.85, to increase the revenue account miscellaneous revenue Con Ed, and also expenditure account in the same amount, street resurfacing.
Is there a second?
Second.
So that last amount was Con Ed paying us.
Con Ed reimbursing us for a number of things they've done throughout the village in the past few months. We will be also,
So that tops off our resurfacing, what we paid for. We're doing resurfacing anyway.
Correct.
If we're resurfacing in a place where Con Ed did some work, they pay us for that? Is that what happens?
when they come in and we have to restore the road after them, or if we can work with them on resurfacing after they've done a project, like for example, they're on Tompkins now, and you know they're making a big mess on Tompkins Avenue, one end to the other, but they will be paying to resurface that entire road again, whether they do it or we do it.
We do it and they pay us
Yeah,
back.
they'll pay us back, correct. So this is from Garrigan Avenue and some of the streets in the Sherman Park area that were done this summer.
Which really look great.
They do,
Such a
yes,
big
they do.
improvement.
Thank you.
While we're on that subject, do we know, are we within the last week of this gas main project that was on Tompkins and now crossing onto Bedford?
Are we in the last week?
Are we? He says that hopefully.
We hope they are, because with school opening in the
School
next
starting,
week,
yeah, exactly.
it's a little bit of a mess on Bedford Road.
A little,
but,
yeah.
The weather's cooperating, so they're
Yeah.
moving.
Okay. All right. All in favor of
146.
Resolution 146?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. 147, Nicole.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees, based upon the recommendation of the police chief, hereby approves the appointments of the following school crossing guards effective August 28th, 2017, at a salary of $20.62 per hour. Frank Aiello, Jeanette Andre, Peter Van Galen, and John Hunnick.
Is there a second?
Second.
For new crossing guards, we're adding a crossing guard this year at the middle school driveway in Ashland,
We are, yes.
effective the beginning of school. So,
Correct.
Good.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Next item on our agenda is an executive session on two matters. One, a matter of real estate negotiation, and two, transition plan for the village
We're not
administrators.
taking
We have one
148?
more.
Oh, I'm sorry, did I miss one?
You
Yes.
are
Oh, I'm
unconsciously
sorry,
going over this
came on
one.
late, but
You're
we had to
trying
put that on
avoid
today.
I'm trying to avoid it. What one did I miss?
The last
148.
Jason Henken.
Jason.
Oh, no, we're just ignoring it.
That's,
Yeah.
All right,
that
You
falls
just
on
have to
me.
acknowledge
that
it.
falls on you.
All right. Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby accepts the letter of Jason Henken advising that he will be retiring from his position as police officer effective August 31, 2017.
Is there a second?
Second.
As you heard 2 weeks ago when we welcomed the new police officer, Chief Grutzner, delivered some well-deserved comments and congratulations about Jason Henken, who's been a great resource for the Village of Pleasant for a long time. We'll have more to say on that, but wish him all the best in his retirement. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved.
Aye.
Yeah, I've always wondered, can we keep people from
Aye.
retiring if we refuse
We say
to
no,
vote?
right?
What do you think, Dwyer?
Don't make me feel bad.
Okay, now we really are at the end of the regular resolutions, and our next act is to enter into an executive session. I'll ask for a motion for that in a moment, but just want to remind everybody that our next meeting is on September 11th at 8 p.m. with a work session at 7, and that is the occasion for the public hearing on the zoning text amendments that you can see at pleasantville-ny.gov. Thank you all for watching. Sorry we were not live tonight, but you can pick this up, as you will be if you hear it now, on an on-demand webcast at pctv76.org. Thanks to all. See you in 2 weeks. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night. Thank you.